We have seen very poor rates of healing from burns, different skin grafts and amputations and wounds
Simply because there's a
they're
lack of
not
nutrition.
nourished. Yeah, exactly. I was in Gaza between April and July. And as compared with December and January, things were significantly worse for people, not just in the sense of the crowding and displacement, where people are much more forced into crowded areas and there's no longer a humanitarian safe zone. There is nowhere that's exempt from attacks, but also in terms of the erosion of any sort of coping mechanism, be that psychological, physical, to do with food and water, societal, to do with safe spaces, regular activity. It's all been very systematically eroded. Food and hunger, and now increasingly high rates of malnutrition, which we've seen in the last 2 weeks, are very much the forefront of people's concern. And it's really heartbreaking to be in an ICU or a high dependency unit in a makeshift tent hospital, and a young child is just crying for a bit of juice, and there's nothing to offer. There's nothing even in the store that you can make into something that they small comfort that they need at that time. We have seen very poor rates of healing from burns, different skin grafts and amputations and wounds.
Simply because there's
they're
a lack of
not
nutrition.
nourished. Yeah, exactly. What we try to do, especially within the mental health team, is to, as much as we can, support psychologically the young people, their families, because there are far too many times in a week situations where we've had to break the news to children under 10 that their parents and siblings have died in the same incident that brought them into the hospital, requiring them to undergo high levels of medical intervention. What I saw amongst children and adults is the initial syndromes of stress or trauma reactions that were happening 6 months ago after a year and a half of the war have now kind of progressed to much more depression and anxiety syndromes, which is a result of a kind of chronic impact of stress and trauma on somebody's nervous system. It gets tired and they start to develop things that look more like chronic disorders.